It's showtime.
The AstraZeneca vaccine has been branded defective in a landmark UK legal case. Does that mean we're going to have many more legal cases now, and that perhaps these medical products were rushed to market without sufficient investigation and clinical trialing? There, you awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on our mutual voyage to truth, freedom, and awakening together. In spite of the fact that it sometimes seems impossible, oppressive, dangerous, and deadly to speak freely, to think critically, to communicate openly, to challenge power, I believe we're closer now than ever. Steel yourself. Be ready to go across the breach into new revelatory territories, because truth of a few years ago is just fallen apart, has fallen away. The scales have been lifted. Remember, hey, if you don't take this vaccine, hey, you better take this medication. People that don't, they should be ashamed.
The people who are not getting vaccines, who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science, it's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind.
Well, the legal cases have started now. AstraZeneca, oh no, we made critical errors in introducing and in fact in many cases mandating medications. Now a lot of people just will close their ears and their eyes to this because the delirium is too sweet to release. But the truth is coming out. Let's get into it. The first thing we'll look at is a piece of propaganda from the British establishment, the BBC, revealing for the first time that there were problems, that there was clotting being... As a precaution, we're just going to withdraw this. Look at how as a precaution, we're just going to withdraw this. Look at how the language has altered and has been altering. This COVID inquiry that's happening in the UK would not be happening if independent media voices, and I mean yours actually, had not at the beginning gone, whoa, what's going on here? Right, all Jay Bhattacharya, Robert Malone, Peter McCulloch, Dave Martin, Judy Misk, all these people that were just, you crackpots, shut up, that is misinformation.
And to introduce now, Tom, thank you for very much for coming on this video.
John, thanks for having me on the show to talk about this very important topic.
Now, Tom, as the name would imply, has been a major in the United States Air Force for a career. Also an engineer, mathematician, and data scientist and analyst. So in a good position to do this work. Now, what on earth are we looking at here, Tom, please?
We're looking at white fibrous clots that have been supplied by embalmers, and they're seeing these all around the world. Embalmers are seeing these clots, and they're seeing them actually in a high percentage of their corpses, unfortunately, John. And they've been seeing mostly over the last 3 years.
Okay, well now people are getting paid out because of this stuff. Is it misinformation, or was it something that should always have been looked at critically, openly? Is this ever a subject that should have been subject to censure and control? Shouldn't this have been openly discussed from the beginning? Isn't that obvious, common sense, that with something of this scale, granting that much power to potential exploitative forces, whether they're governmental or private, is ridiculous and dangerous? Well, now we have a verdict. It is.
The AstraZeneca vaccine has already been suspended in the Netherlands, Ireland, Iceland, Bulgaria, Denmark and Norway.
Oh, those guys. Let's make sure we pay close attention to what they say.
Now, the World Health Organization, along with the EU's very own medicines regulator, say that there is no justification for this temporary ban.
They would say that, wouldn't they? Because they've got a weird set of agenda, those guys. It's very unusual the way that they think. It's very unusual the way that they're funded. Given that the word health is pretty prominent in their title, you would think that their conduct would be a little different.
And leading British scientists insist that the vaccine is safe.
Okay, so that's 2021. Now let's have a look at some of the legacy media reporting on this subject from today. There isn't any. You can't find a single legacy media outlet telling you, oh, by the way, there's been a payout. I wonder why that would be. Isn't it interesting? The stories they really focus a lot of resources on and the stories they just kind of ignore. Is there any corollary? Is there any theme? Is there any trajectory? The only way we can bring you an update on this story is with the often banned, derided and YouTube strike receiving online commentator, friend of the show, John Campbell. Take it away, John.
Is a landmark legal case. Oxford AstraZeneca COVID jab was defective, is the contention. 8th of November 2023, quite a few outlets. Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been branded as defective. Claims of efficacy were vastly vastly overstated, and as we'll see,
They vastly overstated its efficacy, and the media vastly overstated it with them. And even when it was revealed there were problems, they tried to mitigate it. The World Health Organization still say it's okay. Isn't it curious how they operate?
this is in fact the case. You could argue it was very vastly overstated. In other words, it didn't quite have in the vial what it said on the tin, is what this is arguing. Defective. This is the way they're trying to get around the indemnity that the government gave them. But the government's going to probably end up paying for this. It's going to cost you and me a fortune.
Oh, well, no problem. It's going to be the taxpayers that will end up footing the bill for this travesty. Same way that we paid for the development and release of most of the products themselves, even though the profits found their way to, oh yeah, Moderna and Pfizer. I wonder who invests in those products. Let's get into this, guys. The AstraZeneca vaccine caused a small group of individuals to suffer catastrophic injury and bereavement. To make this statement is not to dabble in anti-vaccine conspiracy theories, which, I mean, what do you mean by anti-vaccine conspiracy theory at this point? You have to describe what you mean as an anti-vaccine conspiracy theory. You're against it because of a conspiracy. This is a fact evidenced by the reports of clinicians, medical experts and coroners across the UK. Clinicians, medical experts and coroners, not crackpots, nut jobs and conspiracy theorists. For those who want to maintain a narrative that vaccines do no harm, the experience of the vaccine injured and bereaved constitutes an inconvenient truth. No, they should be shamed. I was told, the legacy media told me what to do with the anti-vaxxers. Shame them. Why don't we shame these bereaved people? That we can maybe shame them into silence. And anyone who tries to propagate these ideas will just find some reason they shouldn't be able to speak either. I'm sure we can come up with something. This is a truth that to date has been easier for the government and much of the media to ignore. By beginning a legal battle against AstraZeneca, the vaccine injured and bereaved can no longer be silenced. Damn. The Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has been branded defective in a multi-million-pound landmark legal action that will suggest claims over its efficacy were vastly overstated. Not only were they vastly overstated, those claims were amplified by the media, and people that tried to challenge these vastly overstated claims were shamed and silenced, and still to this day, there are consequences for speaking out in this way. Pharmaceutical giant is being sued in the High Court in a test case by Jamie Scott, a father of two, who suffered a significant permanent brain injury that's left him unable to work as a result of a blood clot after receiving the jab in April 2021. A second claim is being brought by the widower and two young children of 35-year-old Alpa Taylor, who died after having the jab made by AstraZeneca, the UK-based pharmaceutical giant. It's interesting this man received the jab in April 2021 when it had been revealed that the AstraZeneca vaccine caused blood clots, but the WHO was still saying it was okay. If they want to introduce a global treaty that means they'll be able to mandate vaccines across the world and censor opposition to those measures, we should definitely all sign up to that right now, and definitely not sign this petition in the link below that would prevent that mad treaty. The test cases could pave the way for as many as 80 damages claims worth an estimated $80 million over a new condition known as vaccine-induced immune thrombocytopenia. It's catchy. And thrombosis, VITT. That was identified by specialists in the wake of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine rollout. The vaccine, which was heralded at its launch by Boris Johnson as a triumph for British science, is no longer used in the UK. The government recommends 3 other vaccines for its autumn booster programme. Let's not ask any questions about those then. And the idea that it's like just Boris Johnson rather than a coordinated global event to which every political party signed up is ridiculous and convenient. What this is trying to suggest is, well, if you just get rid of Boris Johnson and AstraZeneca, there's the problem solved. It's not as if there was a global campaign to prevent you from thinking or saying or daring to believe anything else. In the months following the rollout, the potential serious side effect of the AstraZeneca jab was identified by scientists. Following this, it was recommended it no longer be given to the under 40s in the UK because the risk of receiving the jab outweighed the harm posed by COVID.
I thought you were good, Paul. But you're not good. You're just another lying old dirty birdie.
AstraZeneca last night told The Telegraph that patient safety was its highest priority. Is it though? Or is profit the highest priority? And is patient safety a sort of byproduct, an inadvertent consequence of the pursuit of this profit? Official figures from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, show at least 81 deaths in the UK are suspected to have been linked to the adverse reaction that caused clotting in people who also had low blood platelets. Oh, comorbidities is okay now. In total, almost 1 in 5 people who suffered from the condition died as a result. according to the MHRA's own figures. That's their figures. Official figures obtained under a Freedom of Information request show that out of 148 payouts made by the government under the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme, which provides compensation to those injured by vaccines or to bereaved next of kin, at least 144 went to recipients of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Fewer than 5 people under the scheme received vaccines other than AstraZeneca. Is it me? Or does the future feel more insecure and uncertain? Wars, pandemics, lies, trickery. My cats keep having kittens. The last one's personal.